Teddy Roosevelt died 20 years before the start of World War II, but it's still not hard to draw a line between the 26th president and Germany's most infamous dictator. No, Teddy wasn't a Nazi, he just made it easier for them to appear. Here's how it works. William McKinley was elected president in 1896, but just 3 years later his vice president, Garrett Hobart, died of heart failure. McKinley finished his first term without a backup, but when he ran for re-election, he needed someone to balance the ticket. Political boss Mark Hanna suggested Roosevelt, hero of the recent Spanish-American War and governor of New York, mostly because Hanna found Teddy a political pain to work with, and vice presidents tended to disappear. But after McKinley had served a few months of his new term, he was shot by a lunatic in Buffalo, New York. The bullet didn't kill him, but McKinley's doctors were so incompetent he died 8 days later of infection. Now Teddy was president at age 42. Now Teddy had a big ego. Yeah, about that big. And within weeks he decided the U.S. Constitution wasn't nearly as important as his opinion. During his 7.5 years in office, he attacked large businesses, started the Food and Drug Administration based on a work of fiction, overhauled the game of football, and even tried to change the spelling of American English. On the night of his re-election in 1904, Roosevelt told backers he considered this his final term of office and, quote, "Under no circumstances will I be a candidate or accept another nomination." Roosevelt would break that promise. In 1908, Roosevelt decided, though, not to run for another term, so he allowed chubby William Taft to run. Taft was a good president, except he wasn't named Roosevelt. Teddy was bored and wasn't getting the attention he craved, so in 1912 he decided to run for president again. Republicans had had enough of Teddy's imperious style and instead nominated Taft for another term. Roosevelt's reaction was childish. He decided to run for president again, sponsored by his own third party, the Progressive or Bull Moose Party. By this time, only one Democrat had been elected president since the Civil War 50 years earlier. In 1912, the party named former Princeton University president Woodrow Wilson to run. Republicans got 1 million more votes than the Democrats that year, but since the vote was split between Taft and Roosevelt, Woody Wilson won. Within months, America had an income tax, promised only to tax the rich, and a Federal Reserve that took over our money supply. Since then, it's reduced the value of a dollar by 99%. Yes, your dollar today buys what a penny did in 1913. If egotistical Teddy had been able to resist running for a third term, Taft would have won re-election by more than 1 million votes, and we likely could have avoided the income tax, Federal Reserve, being in the First World War, and maybe the Second. In 1914, war started over in Europe. Americans had no interest in dying for European kings, so in 1916, Wilson ran for re-election with the motto, "He kept us out of war." 33 days after his second inauguration, we were in the war, mostly because Wilson wanted to be the hero who made the world safe for democracy, run by a super government called the League of Nations. Wilson helped the Allies win the war at the cost of 100,000 young American lives. After that, he traveled to Paris to help write the Treaty of Versailles. But Wilson was a rube compared to the politicians of Europe. They ignored his 14 points for peace, grabbed all of Germany's colonies, and by the time it was over, the entire war was blamed on Germany, even though it had started when a Serbian shot an Austrian archduke in Bosnia. The cost of those reparations, though, bankrupted Germany. Germans were hungry and furious, making it easy for the leader of the German Socialist Workers' Party, the Nazis, to get enough backing to take over the country. That leader was named Adolf Hitler, and the next war would cost America more than 250,000 lives and much higher taxes. And that, my friends, is how Teddy Roosevelt's huge ego led to Adolf Hitler.